Some people want to talk about it and some people kind of like shy away, but I always talk about it and let people know that, yeah, it has affected me and it could happen to anybody, you know, and just be aware. Like, I want to talk about my cousin because he was a great person. It's not what he did. Like, that's not his, you know. Another cousin, she told me about the Samaritans and sent me an email, and she's like, I think we should go to the Safe Place support group. So we went, and ever since, like, it's been an extended family to us. Everybody has been so helpful, and it's just so comforting that they're unfortunately feeling the same thing, and they understand like what you're going through because it affects in the room everybody in the same way. I wish that I would have been more involved before this. You know, I wish that it didn't take me to lose my cousin to become a part of as much a part of the Samaritans as I am right now.
My oldest son, Mark, 24 years old, completed suicide on January 21st, 2005. He was the oldest of 6 children, and I went to his house because I hadn't heard from him for a few days and found him hanging in his closet. Mark suffered from depression for 10 years. And during that time, no one ever said anything to us about the Samaritans. Didn't know about their befriending line, didn't know about anything. Mark could have used it as a resource. I could have used it as a resource. My family could have used it as a resource. And Mark has 5 brothers and sisters that lives have been shattered. His father and I feel like we're walking through a nightmare every day. And people don't understand it. You know, there's this big black cloud around the word. You know, people in my own family wanted to say that Mark died of a drug overdose. They wanted to find other reasons. But I wouldn't let that happen from the beginning because Mark was a good, happy person. And he had a mental illness, a disease that brought him to the lowest depths of despair. And I do believe it was a moment that he didn't know how to turn away from. And I think his pain was just so great he didn't know how to get out of it. I want people to know how he died because it could have been prevented. He didn't have cancer or something else that there was no hope for. He felt hopeless, but there was still hope for him and for his future. You know, people in the public get angry when someone gets murdered or a small child gets hit by a car or, you know, even the drug overdoses that happen. There's anger and outrage, and there is no anger and outrage with suicide. We need to speak out and let everyone out there know that this is real, it's bad, it can happen to you, it can happen to me, it can happen to the kid next door. And the only way to prevent it is for us to speak out about it. It's been pushed under the carpet for too long. I'm not ashamed that Mark committed suicide. I'm angry that people aren't angry about suicide and that they don't talk about it. People like me who've been affected by it have to speak out. We need to yell and scream and make other people know, you know, this is something that's out there. Your kid's more at risk for suicide than of being, you know, murdered on the street. Parents worry about their kids when they go out. You know, they want them to be safe, but we need to worry about them at home. This is my son, Mark. He was a very fun, loving person. He suffered with depression for 10 years and won many valiant battles against suicide. But each of those times, he fought a battle that he won. And this last battle, he wasn't able to overcome it. But that was 1 second 1 second in his life, and he's a gentle, loving individual that we don't get to hug anymore. We don't get to kiss, we don't get to laugh with him. And those are the things that bring suicide, make it real. Those are the things that make suicide real, when you see that that person's not there anymore, and that something could have been done about it. Someone could have been there for him to talk to. But he didn't know there were people around.